The domination is there for all to see. They had 18 attempts tonight. This season against Crystal Palace, Manchester City had 32 attempts in the two games, and none of those 32 attempts have resulted in a single goal across the two matches. 74% possession tonight for Manchester City, and 500 passes in the opposition half. But no way through for the reigning champions tonight. We talked about the way there would be twists and turns. This is certainly one, you feel?
Like we said before the game, we knew it was going to be a very, very tough game. We knew Crystal Palace was going to cause them problems with the players they have and the way they played from the first game, which they kind of repeated and done again in the second game. I think the problem is these are one of those games I don't want to be cliche and say, oh, they needed a striker, because it wasn't necessarily that. But I feel like if you have that number 9 there, it does give you something a little bit different. It would create, I'll say, more space for your likes of people like Kevin De Bruyne, because defenders won't just step out against him, because if they step out against him, then the striker normally runs into that space behind him. So in games where it is this tight, I would say this is a time where possibly you needed that number 9. And for some reason, Jesus didn't come on, which he can sort of play that sort of role and do that sort of thing.
Very difficult to criticise Pep Guardiola, because I certainly believe he's the best we've ever seen as a coach. No changes tonight. It was really interesting for me. They got the likes of Raheem Sterling, who scores goals and creates. He's always got a little spark. I thought the boys on the pitch did okay, but I think they needed to freshen it up. You've got Jesus, who can come up with an important goal. Gundogan, who's got an eye for a goal. I think it was probably credit to Palace. They still had the counter threat that Gundogan didn't come on. He kept Rodri on the pitch. But I thought perhaps he should have changed it up. But like I say, it's very difficult to ever criticise the man because he's the best. But in hindsight now, I think he would possibly look at that and say, maybe should have changed things up and sharpened it up.
Do you think maybe he thought a goal was coming with the chances that...
If I was a manager, I personally would have thought the same thing as well. The amount of chances they create, they might not be clear-cut chances, or they're not always,
but they were not
hitting
the
target. But they're creating enough chances to feel like that goal is coming. And just unfortunately, it just didn't happen. Most of the chances fell to the players you would have most probably wanted them to fall to as well. And either the keeper comes up with a save, or they hit the post, or they don't quite make the right contact with the ball, and it just goes wide. So I think they was very unlucky. And like I said, I thought they played well. It was just that little part that was missing.
It's really interesting what Sean says about the natural number 9 striker. They've gone all season, they've been top of the league, in the quarterfinals of the Champions League and the FA Cup. But with those fine margins, do you agree sometimes?
Possibly. I mean, you'll be a fool not to, because it's always going to be labelled on him. I mean, Pep's walking off that pitch now, he's disappointed because he knows his team's done enough to win the game. And they're at the top of the league for a reason, because they do score a lot of goals and they don't concede too many. But he knows he's got to go into that press conference, and he knows he's going to be asked. If he could pick, he'll win the lottery. If he picked one question they're going to ask him, and it's, if you had that number 9, if you would have made that signing in January or the summer, would it make a difference? He knows it would have made a difference. He keeps saying it. He puts it in there every now and again. It's easy to say if Harry Kane was there, they would have won that game tonight. But I'm going to say it. They don't lose that game with Harry Kane in there. They do not lose that football match if Harry Kane's there. But I still believe they can win the league without him. They've done it before, and he'll probably do it again this year. But it's getting tighter and tighter now. And the longer that game went on at 0-0, more anxious they got. I think that's why they're missing chances. They're snatching at their chances, rather than that calmness what we see. But that's what happens when you come this time of the year. You get into the final, you're on the final straight now. Liverpool coming up strong. You cannot drop any points. Tonight they've dropped points. Now it's up to Liverpool to capitalise.
Indeed. And we saw the post hit in the first half. We saw it again in the second. Kevin De Bruyne. There's actually a shot here of Kyle Walker wheeling away. He thinks it's in.
But this is like a great ball, and he hits it perfectly well. And I would celebrate. And even on the second one, it falls to Mahrez. You think again the same, but keeper does well. And I think at the time Foden nudges him, so it would have been offside
Kyle Walker
anyway.
at the bottom of your screen here, Sean, when this hits.
Because you see, when it falls to Kevin De Bruyne in that area with his quality, you just expect it to be a goal left or right foot. But just sometimes when things ain't going your way, they're the little things that happen, and I feel like they'll go through that. And there's another chance here which they create, which is a great ball, and he puts it in, and you think this is a goal, because I jumped out of my seat as well, and he actually gets a good enough touch to actually direct it in, but it doesn't get enough. And this for me is like a peach of a cross, and the defender's got, for me, do a lot better with that, and I think he knows that himself. But it's football, and sometimes when the pressure gets too much, like he said, the longer the game goes on, like Tim said, they're not as calm in front of goal as they most probably would have. If that chance has fell to Laporte, most probably in the first 25 minutes, he most probably makes a clean header and it flies in the back of the net.
But they do score today. Laporte has scored recently as well, important goals. They do step up. Even Walker's chipped in with a few goals. Cancelo on the other side. So they do share their goals around the team. Tonight wasn't their night in front of goal.
And in a game like that, it is all about winning, but you just said they played well. Is that important once the dust settles?
I think it is. I think Pep realised that. I'm sure he'll come out and say we can do no more. We can do no more. You know, they defended deep. They had a counter-attacking threat. We all saw that. They carried a threat. But that's what he's going to expect. That's what Man City always expect. Numbers behind the ball. They're very good in tight areas. That's why they're the best players. And it's not as if they didn't create. They created chances tonight. You need to be clinical, especially this time of year, because you cannot start dropping points. But let's hear from the man who's now twice put a plan together to take points off Manchester City. It is the Crystal Palace manager, former City player, of course, Patrick Vieira.
Patrick, pleased?
Yes, please. He was hard. It was a difficult game, of course. That is what he was expected. But I was really pleased with the players because we work hard, we work well. We defended well, and we created a couple of situations, couple of chances. But I'm really happy with the team spirit and our organisation today.
You had to ride your luck a little bit, but I think any team that gets something from a game against City generally needs a little bit of luck.
When you play against City, you have to concede chances, and it's all about having your luck of the day, on the day, but it's about as well. Put in a shift as a team, and I think we did it today. The luck didn't just came out like that. We fight for the luck, and we get the points, and we are happy with the performance.
What pleased you most about the performance? I'm sure there's lots of things, but anything in particular?
Yeah, it's about the way we manage the game. It's about defending well as a team, and at times during the season we struggled when we were in our difficult period in a game. But today, in the difficult period, we stick together, we've been defending well, and at the end, they didn't score goals. They have a couple of chances, yes, but you expect those chances when you play against City.
They had quite a lot of chances, but did belief grow as the game went on and it was still 0-0 because you had some chances as well?
Yeah, we had some chances, and it was that kind of feeling that you can score one and just win the game 1-0, but I'm happy with the draw. The performance, I think, was really good. All the players work hard, work well, and the team performance today deserves a lot of credit.
You've had a lot of credit for the attacking play that you've brought to Palace, but how much satisfaction do you take from 2 clean sheets against Manchester City?
But this is the part of the game that we have to learn and to be more consistent if we want to be a better team. It's not just about having the ball. Especially when you play against City, you know that you are not going to dominate the possession. You need to put your sleeve up and defend well and work hard. And today we did it, and we did it as a team, and we get the points, and I'm really pleased with that.
Just finally, it's only a point, but given who it's against, how big does that feel, and how good shape does it put you into for the FA Cup game?
No, it's all about building that confidence, and playing against City and not conceding a goal is always positive. And there is a lot of positiveness to take to the FA Cup game, but today we won a lot. We work quite really hard, so we will have a couple of days to prepare that game.
Well done today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Patrick. Great to see you.
He's talking not about having the ball there, of course, Patrick Vieira, 26% possession, but they did have a couple of sniffs in front of goal in that second half when they did have the ball as well, Tim.
They've got pace on the counter-attack, and with Gallagher, he always gets up and support. They've got quality. We've seen that against lesser sides. Few and far between today, but they still had that threat, and I think it gives the defenders a rest, when they do break. Look to break very, very quickly when they do. and it didn't fall for them really in the penalty area, but they had very few chances. You know, this was just a scramble. You'd expect Keita possibly to get his head on that. I was thinking it was a mix-up. Maybe Mate gives him a shout and he gets a clear header at it. But you know, they kept going, and I always felt, you know, as they cut throwing bodies forward, that Man City, that they might leave a little bit more space for the pace of Zaha. And Elise, this is the Gallagher chance. You know, he's tried to Hollywood goal there. I think he needs to turn back in and supply the attackers with the ball there. But they always carried that energy. You know, they've got good energy, especially this boy. I mean, he's had a fantastic season for him. And with Zaha, he always wants to show how good he is. You know, he can go past people 1v1. He's got good ability. He nicks fouls, gives you rest to the defenders, gets you free kicks, takes you up the field. You can reset from there. And I think they did a good job today. Like Patrick said, they had to ride their luck, but anyone has to. If you're going to beat Man City or get a point off Man City, you're going to have to ride your luck, and your goalkeeper's going to have to play well.
Yeah, I have to totally agree with him. I think especially for the wingers that started their two very, very attacking-minded players. And today they had to do a part of the job that they most probably didn't like. But they did it fantastically. Zaha was back more. I think he had one shot on goal, which was late on, which was pretty close. And Elise, the same thing. They helped out, and I think the fact that they helped out stopped City having that overload in wide areas, which they're normally very, very good at, and it's normally how they dominate the game and put those balls in across the box. So I think Palace, the tactical plan was it was perfect, really, if you say that.
Patrick Vieira delighted with a point. I'm not so sure Pep Guardiola will be. Here are the thoughts of the Manchester City boss.
Pep, how did you see it in the end tonight?
Well, we played a really, really good game. Create a lot of chances, especially in the first half. Difficult side, defend really well, tight, and they were with the rhythm. And we played a really good game.
You created so much in the first half. Did you look to try and change anything at half-time, or was the message more of the same, please?
No, we continue the same. So patient, no concede, and we have our chances. We had it, we could not convert. Sometimes happen.
Second half, did you consider making any changes of personnel, or did you always believe that what you had out there would see the job?
They were
would
playing
find
good.
A breakthrough?
Yeah, I thought a lot to make some changes, but they were playing good. You know, the guys were inside, have the ability to score a goal. But at the end we play more the motion, they defend, and with their people. But I think they were playing good.
How hard did Palace make it for you tonight, in all honesty, do you feel?
Well, we didn't score. That was the reason why, not the Crystal Palace.
So in terms of what you want to achieve this season, how do you see this result tonight?
9 games still, many games to play. I know we have to win a lot of games, but the way we played, there's no regrets about the team. I would prefer to win, of course, but the game was well played.
You're pleased with the performance. Was it difficult to feel anything other than disappointment given where we are in the season and the fact that you dominated the game tonight?
We played to win the game, so we create more, we concede few. The stats are there. The way we played was amazing in the difficult stadium with the grass not perfect, and we were there all the time without the ball, so we did a good game.
Will you use the outcome of tonight to reinforce the message to your players of just how tough and what's needed to win this league?
We don't need to draw here to know it.
Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
Well, he was talking about the chances, particularly in the first half, because they didn't actually have an effort on target in the second half, Manchester City. First half, he talked about it, we talked about it at half-time. On another night, they would have scored.
On another night, it would have most probably been game over by half-time. The chances they did create, like this one that pops off, normally Bernardo would just take it straight away, but he tries to be, for me, a bit too cute with this one.
Yeah.
You have to be too perfect to do what he's trying to do, for me. Should have just tried and struck for it and hit the target. And then you got this one here which is a great strike again, and just wide. I think keeper's at full stretch. On another day, most probably goes, and this ball from here, I don't know how Kevin reaches that, but Kevin De Bruyne actually gets a great touch on it and turns out to be a fantastic save from the keeper. So then there was chances, and City was probing, and Palace got deeper, and the shot from outside the box, which hits the post, and you think Laporte's going to obviously tap it in, but I think it comes back a little bit too quickly. He taps it over. As you can see, he's just onside, but maybe if a striker or an attacker, he controls that ball before he does it. And here's another one. It comes across. Luckily, it falls to Mahrez. You think left foot goal. And it goes straight through the legs and back at him. And I felt like a lot of City's good chances came off direct plays, like that one did there, where Mahrez just picks up the seconds, tries to take a quick touch outside of his foot, but doesn't get enough around it, really.
I mean, it was there for everyone to see. I mean, that's just the first half. There's enough chances to win 4 or 5 games there, but tonight it wasn't their day. Everything he hit went down the throat of Gaeta. He was in the correct position. He hit the post a couple of times. You know, it just wasn't clinical enough. I agree with Pep. You know, they played well tonight. They played well, but they couldn't score, and that is the reason why Palace have a draw.
And is it important for them to remember that? I know they've only got a point and not 3, but it's not that they've put in a bad performance here at this stage of the season.
Yeah, I think the fact that they've come away from that game, even though it's a draw and everybody expected them to win, and I wanted them to win, but
we know that.
Yeah. But I mean, they like Tim said, they actually played well. They played good football. In a way, they dealt with a lot of the counter attacks that were chucked at them, and they possessed the ball well, created loads of chances, as we've seen, but they just wasn't clinical in front of goal. Now, if they in other games, those chances go in more than likely. So they're still in a position where, as long as they keep winning, they win the league. So they still got the gap to worry about. So they just need to keep putting these performances in, and hopefully just pick up the 3 points and be more clinical in front of goal.
I think with City, when you watch City, they never ever get anything they don't deserve. You know, I never see them play bad and then score a goal and they nick a result. You know, perhaps the nearest would have come to that was probably getting away with a handball at Everton when they didn't play that well. But they always play very, very well. And it's just if they take their chances, they win the football matches. I think they're so dominant in their play. They control every game they're involved in. Actual possession control, passing into the opposition's area, you know, domination around the penalty area. And Sean's absolutely right. The best chances come when they do break a little bit quicker, when the teams are not set. You know, when teams are attacking them, they nick the ball off them with a press and then they break quicker. That's when the space is, and that's when they need to capitalise a lot more. But listen, it's a blip. It's a blip, but it's a poor time to have a blip when Liverpool are coming fast.
There won't be any panic, though. I mean, this is a set of players trying to win a title for the 4th time in 5 seasons. They've been this course many times before.
Yeah. Oh, they're different. Just Pep's mentality, you can see over the years he's been there, I felt it was just rubbed off on the players. No matter whether they had lost today or whether it was a draw or they won, I think they would approach the next game that they're going into is with the exact same mentality, and that is to go out and win the game. And as you can see, they always try to win the game. They don't ever sit back, no matter who they're playing against. It could be Liverpool, it could be teams in the Champions League. They always play a similar way to try and dominate the game with the ball and win the game.
However, when you won your title, you were challenging the great Manchester United team at the time under Sir Alex Ferguson. You've had nights like this where you're at home, glancing at the TV, and United drew. Is it a little spring in your step when you go into training the next morning and your rivals have done that?
Huge lift. Huge lift. You know, even when you're a manager and you're struggling around the bottom of the league, you'd want the other teams to get beaten around you. You know, when you're a player, you're watching that, you're tuning in, and you know, like we said at the beginning of the show, Palace are dangerous. Possibly, can they? And then players, they know the game. They're like thinking, well, everything's got to go their way. Everything did go their way today. They were poor in front of goal. Man City, the goalkeeper played well. They got the decisions, and it's a boost. You know, it's 2 points you ain't got to find now. You know, they've taken 2 points off them, so they're still chasing. They know that they've got to do their own business. That game is the head-to-head's going to be huge. That's a cup final. It's in Man City's hands still. So if I'm Pep Guardiola, I'm saying, boys, we're in control of this situation. But Jurgen Klopp will be rubbing his hands together as thinking, this is getting tighter. That means it's getting edgier, more anxiety. Fans are going to get anxious, especially when they play and they can't score early on. When Man City play and they score early on, it's almost game over because they play with such confidence and flair. Other teams have to come out. When it gets edgy, you know, get to the hour mark, then they're for the taking. Let's
have a look at those fixtures again, because Liverpool, of course, now, well, it was always a huge game away at Arsenal. They've won 5 in a row and 9 of the last 11 on Wednesday. But given the fact City have dropped points ahead of that game, is that a slight shot in the arm for Liverpool going to the Emirates?
Yeah, no, I think like we said in the build up to the show, I think the fixtures that are there's so many potential games where either team could drop points. Like I felt in the first 20 minutes in Liverpool against Brighton, I thought, oh, they could be struggling here. But obviously they come away with it and they put their chances away and plus get a penalty. So for me, it's going to happen again. I think whoever's in the studio or whoever's doing the show will have this similar conversation again. We just don't know whereabouts it's going to be, or is it going to be that final part? But I think there will be more people dropping points.
There's absolutely no point me asking Sean this question. I can only ask it to you. Which dressing room would you rather be in? Would you rather be chasing or being chased at the moment? After that tonight?
Being chased always. You'd rather have the points in the bag rather than the games in there. I mean, if they win their games, they're champions. And if they win their games, they obviously put Liverpool away as well. So they got it in their own hands. I think it's...
But Liverpool are in a situation now, if they win every game, they're champions, because they'll beat City.
No, because yeah, that's right. So, but if it's for me, I want to be Man City because I've got the lead. So, look,
you've got experience of both as a player, haven't you? Being chased and chasing.
Yeah, but the difference is now with Liverpool, they've crossed the line as well. Whereas before, when they've chased, they've never got over the line. Don't know how it is to get over the line. Now they know they've got that experience. So it's going to be tougher. It's going to be tougher for Man City. But Liverpool know that as well. I mean, Liverpool, Man City are the two best teams in world football at the moment, in my eyes. This league is so tough. We saw there today, what have Palace got to play for? Not going to go to Europa, not going to go down, but the integrity of this league, everyone fights for every single point. That's massive. It's credit to the Premier League how it's such an honest league to be in. You don't see that in any league in the world, what we saw there tonight. A team fighting for their lives with nothing to play for. Brilliant. That's why we love it.
There's going to be more twists and turns?
Most definitely. I'm looking forward to it. I know that much.